Hi y'all, Austin here with Outer World Media. Welcome back to another video, guys. This time we are talking spooky season. We are talking horror movies. We are talking something that I am absolutely infatuated with. Again, that is horror movies. If you can't tell, I am a huge fan of anything and everything horror movie wise. I think if you follow this channel for any length of time, you probably know that by now. Um, but every year I try to do what I never had a name for it until a few years ago. I saw some people on YouTube doing this, and they called it 31 on 31, where you essentially try to watch one horror movie a day for the entire month of October, which is fine. That's great. Sometimes you're not able to do that. Real life gets in the way. So, I try to fit as many horror movies in the month of October as I can. So if there's one night I can't watch one, I generally will watch two or three maybe on a weekend. I try to give myself a little bit of slack there. Again, I just try to watch as many as I can. Generally, though, I do watch one a day. But I wanted to kind of give you guys an idea of as far as what I'm going to be watching. I'm not sure in what order. I never do till the day of. But I wanted to kind of show you guys what I am going to try to watch. I have a list here of ones that I don't have physical copies of yet, or ones that I'll be streaming. Streaming has definitely made it a little bit easier when it comes to this, just because in the month of October, all these streaming services will upload movies that they normally don't carry. So, for example, if you have the Peacock app, they will have a bunch of the Universal Classic monster movies, which I need to watch those. I really do. I have not watched. I think I've seen like the original Dracula and Frankenstein and the Creature from the Black Lagoon, but I need to watch them. I intended to try and buy the Blu-ray set so I could watch it this year. Unfortunately, I just can't seem to find it for a decent price, so I'm going to stick with the classics and some unknown usual ones I'm going to throw in there. So we're going to start off here. And again, I'm just kind of showing you guys this. And that way, if you have any questions or any comments as far as, if I should add something to the list, let me know. Again, I try to watch as many as I can. Last year, I watched like almost 40, I think. This year's going to be a little bit more difficult with me trying to balance the reading side and watching the movies. And my wife and me are taking a trip the end of next month. So it's going to throw some chaos in there. But let's get started, guys. I think I had like 32, I think. Hold on, the count here real quick. I think I had like 37, 38 here. Again, math is hard, but let's get into it, guys. We're going to start off with one that I recently bought within the last few months. I have yet to watch, though. I'm waiting for Halloween to watch it, and it's a cult classic from what I understand, and that is The Monster Squad. I think it was like 3 years ago, 2, 3, yeah, I think it was like 3 years ago. I went to the Texas Frightmare Fest there in Dallas, and they had the cast there. I hadn't watched the movie, I still haven't, and that's where this kind of got put on my radar and whatnot. And I will be watching the Kino Lorber Studio Classics. I think this comes with a huge documentary on it as well, but I've heard this is really good. Probably a little cheesy, but you know what? That's fine. Um, Let's start off with that. And I'm gonna throw this one out there too. My wife is not that really big into horror movies like I am, so we'll watch like Hocus Pocus. It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, just stuff like that. Try to get her to participate. So I'll watch something a little bit more aimed for a younger audience, not necessarily something that's gonna make you jump out of your seat. Then the next one we have is another cult classic, and that is Army of Darkness. I absolutely love this one. This is my favorite in the franchise. My wife has really come to love this movie. It could be April and she's like, hey, we should watch Army of Darkness. So um, I know for a fact she'll watch that one with me. Next, we have John Carpenter's classic, and that is Halloween. I will be watching let me see if I can get it out here. My Scream Factory classic, and then this one was signed by the cast. I got to meet them, super sweet people. Unfortunately, I passed up on meeting Charles Cipher, and I wish I had, and I just ran out of room on here to get signed. I should have met him before he passed, but again, super super sweet people, and whatnot. Even the Shape himself. He was super sweet, super nice guy. Next, we have another cult classic, and that is The Toxic Avenger. I watched this last year for the first time, trying to do my 31 on 31. I absolutely love this movie. I've watched the second one, partway through the third. They're something that I think I will like eventually. But this first one, I really really enjoyed this first one. This is gonna be on Peacock. I know this is already on there. So again, if you're interested, The Toxic Avenger. I don't know. why, but the horror community has adopted this as one of its own, and I'm not going to complain. I really enjoy that movie. Next, I have seen the original, but I have not seen this one. Next is the Cronenberg's remake of The Fly. I've owned the Fly collection, the Scream Factory set, for 3 years, something like that. And I've only seen the first one. The first one, with Vincent Price, really, really enjoyed it. I know this one, I've heard a lot of people say this one is their favorite. They prefer this over the original. And I'm sure it's because it's got that Cronenberg aspect to it, as far as it's going to be a creepy, disturbing video. Obviously, this has Jeff Goldblum in it. So looking forward to finally watching that this year. And I'm going to bundle these up. I am going to, and I watched this last year. I have a video unboxing of these, and I recommend going watching it. And these ones I know you can watch for free on like Tubi, I think, and Freebie and all those. I know they're on Peacock, so there's gonna be ways to watch a bunch of these for free, and that is the first 5 Puppet Master movies. I'm talking about, obviously, the original OG Puppet Master, Puppet Master 2, which personally is my favorite because that's where we get my man Torch in there. Puppet Master 3, which tends to be everybody's favorite. Puppet Master 4, and Puppet Master 5. It's all one continuous story, but I think if you put these together, this makes pretty awesome movie that's a little over 2 hours. So again, the original, and I have not opened these, the original first 5 Puppet Master movies. Next is one I watched for the first time last year, and let me say this. I am a huge Alice Cooper fan. I love Alice Cooper's music. I'm a huge fan of John Carpenter, and you probably know what movie I'm talking about now, since I've said these 2 names. I didn't see what the big deal was with this movie, and that is Prince of Darkness. Obviously, this has Donald Pleasance in it. I mean, again, I didn't understand what the big deal with this movie was. It was okay to me, so I'm going to try to watch it again. I'm going to give it about a year in between and see if maybe I enjoy it a little bit more now, but we shall see. I'm still happy to own it, but again, I don't see the big deal. The next one is one that I don't think I know a whole lot of people that really like this movie. I grew up with this movie. I absolutely adore this movie, and that is 13 Ghosts. I mean, this has Matthew Lillard in it. It's got, what's his name? Robert Zemeckis produces. Tony Shalhoub. And this has the girl from American Pie in it. This is one of those movies I grew up watching. I love this movie to death. Will defend this movie till the day I die. 13 Ghosts. Great movie. If you've not seen this, watch it this month. Watch it during Halloween. Next, we have a classic, and that is Candyman, the original Candyman. I really, really enjoyed this movie. I remember watching this. I think I watched when I was a kid. I watched the second one first, then I went back and watched this one at a later date. Really, really enjoyed this one. Next, we have one that I didn't see till last year. I'm not going to lie. I don't know what the heck was keeping me from watching it, guys. I really don't. And that is John Carpenter's The Thing. Some say this is their favorite Carpenter film. They say this is his best movie that he ever made. This is definitely up there. I know I went 2 years ago to the convention to Frightmare, and they had a Thing reunion cast there. And I hadn't watched the movie. I didn't get anybody to sign this or anything, which kind of bums me out. But again, this is one I really, really enjoy this. And keep an eye out if you guys are want great deals for movies. Go on Blu-ray.com, I believe is what it's called, and they show when deals happen. I picked this movie up for like $3 and some change on Amazon. I don't know, and I had to wait like a week and a half to get it in. But again, $3.50 or whatever it was after change for this movie was well worth it. And I'm probably going to do individual reviews when I'm, watch these. Next, we have one that I have not seen, but that is Night of the Living Dead, the original. I'm just not that big a zombie fan, guys. I'm not. I'm honest about it. I really, really enjoyed the Dawn of the Dead remake that came out in the early 2000s. Who was that? Zack Snyder? No. James Gunn, I think, who did that. I think James Gunn did that one. But I bought this at the Criterion sale. This is the 4K. I figured, you know what, I want to watch it, might as well buy it in the 4K and watch it the best way I possibly can. So this will be a first time watching this for me. And again, there's ways to watch that for free. I just want to own it on 4K. The next one is one that I didn't even know really what it was until I saw like an article on it and started reading about it, and that is Peeping Tom. Apparently this is the first original slasher film. I guess this predated Hitchcock's Psycho by like a few months. So do some research. There's some interesting stuff on this movie. But again, I bought this in like July. I'm saving it to watch in October. Again, super excited to watch that. I understand it's probably gonna be a little bit different pacing, but that's fine. Um, and next we have, of course, I have to watch these. That is Halloween 2, which is highly underrated. And I'm not sure. So the Halloween that I have and this one, they have the TV variation of it. Um, and I may watch this one on the TV version because I remember as a kid, I think it was, and I remember seeing the scene where like Laurie Strode was. I don't know, but again, I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just rambling, but again, Halloween 2, and you're not gonna be surprised. Halloween 3. I remember as a kid when I bought this, I was super excited. I watched these out of order, and I finally had them try to watch them in order. And when I got to this one, I was like super excited. I was bummed as hell because there's no Michael Myers in here except for that one 5 second shot of him on the TV. But I bought this when it was on sale this last year for Halloween in October. Watched it last year in October. This is one of my favorite Halloween movies now. I don't know what the heck I was thinking as a kid. This is really, guys, this is an amazing movie. If you've not watched this, if you watched it as a kid or when you're younger, kind of disappointed that Michael Myers wasn't in it, look at it through the lens of, okay, this is not a Halloween. Just look at it as the movie Season of the Witch. If you look at it through that lens, you will, I promise, you will have a whole heck of a lot more enjoyment out of watching this because I know I did. I mean, this is, as you can tell, I had the mask up there. I mean, this has really become one of my favorite horror movies of all time now after watching it. And again, I'm just going to roll through these individually. Next, we have Halloween 4, which I grew up watching this one. I absolutely love this one. I think Danielle Harris does a great job in that. Then we have Halloween 5. And yes, these are the hard box editions. Halloween is one of my favorite horror franchises of all time. Depending on the day you ask me, it's Halloween, Friday the 13th. Most of the time it's Friday the 13th over Halloween, but it can change from day to day, I'm not going to lie. Then I have this bundle box set here of, what is that? Curse of Michael Myers, H2O, and Resurrection. I bought this last year in like December, I think is what it was, and I have yet to watch these in this format because I've been waiting for October to watch them. I'm not sure if you can buy this set anymore. If you can, I would highly recommend go out and get it because here soon you're probably not going to be able to get it. Next, we have the OG Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I bought the Steelbook, the 4K Steelbook. This is one, it's not my favorite, but I understand, why it's so controversial, why this is so important to the horror community and the genre in general. I personally prefer the second one over this one, and that's just me. And I'm going to try to watch the second one this year as well. But there's just some days I don't know what it is. I think it's the little bit of the comedic, not so serious aspect of the movie that I really enjoy on the second one. Next, we have one I watched last year, and I really enjoy it, and that is They Live. I mean, you had that infamous line, "I came here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum." I mean, that line right there made this movie. It's got Roddy Piper and Keith David. So what more needs to be said aside from Roddy Piper and Keith David? Some would say, and I've heard people argue that this is their favorite Carpenter film. Carpenter has so many different films that they're awesome. It's hard for me to narrow it down. I would probably, and it's going to be the most generic answer, probably would have to go with Halloween. Carpenter was one of the best horror directors, one of the best directors of all time, in my opinion. One of the most. I can make a 20-minute video going on about John Carpenter, and I probably will one of these days. Next, we had The Big Boy, and this is one that I absolutely am proud to show off, and I am going to watch all the Friday the 13th movies. Yes. I'm gonna do a little PSA here right now, okay? This box set's not out of sale yet, not out of print. If you are a Friday the 13th fan, I would highly recommend go buy this. Go, seriously, this is so worth it. Again, you get the little artwork on the back and whatnot. Again, I absolutely love Friday the 13th. And this is, I always am proud to break out that set come October. Let it sit there and I can bask in its glory as far as how awesome it is. And yes, I know it's a Halloween ripoff, but hey, it's Friday the 13th, guys. It has its own merit. It stands on its own leg at this point. So some movies that I'm going to watch that I don't have physical editions of. I mentioned Hocus Pocus. I am going to watch the new Salem's Lot movie that comes out on the 3rd of October. I'm going to watch that. Super excited for that one. The trailer does not make it look like it's necessarily true to the book, but you know what? I'm going to watch it. Next, I'm going to watch X, which is the Ty West film. I really enjoyed that one. I saw that in theaters. Then I'm going to watch Maxine, which is the newest one. I'm going to leave Pearl. I may watch Pearl. It's not my favorite out of the trilogy. Next is Return of the Living Dead. Again, not a super big zombie fan, but I really enjoyed that one. I am going to get the new edition of Trick or Treat, the 4K edition. I had that coming in, so I'm going to watch that. Scream 1, 2, and 3. I love the original trilogy. One of my favorite horror franchises of all time. I love the Scream trilogy. Specifically the first one. You can't beat it. I mean, come on. You really can't beat that movie. The Shining. I always watch The Shining. I'm a huge Shining fan. My wife has not seen any of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, so I'm going to make her watch at least the first three. I think if you watch the first three and you're not that big a fan, I don't think if you're on the fence, I don't think there's any reason to go past to part 4 or 5 and on. That's when, Freddy gets to be a little bit more too comedic, in my opinion. Next, the original OG Pet Sematary, going to watch that. And that's it, guys. That is, again, I have more than 30 movies there, but I like to give myself some wiggle room. Like I said, I will, on Halloween Day, probably just be watching nothing but horror movies. So I have no doubt I will fit quite a few of those in. But like I said, that is what I'm going to try and watch in the month of October for Spooky Season, Spooky Fest 31 on 31, whatever you want to call it, Fright Fest, whatever you want to call it. Again, that is what I'm going to try and watch. As always, I thank you guys and appreciate you for stopping by. I know this video is a little bit different than normal because it's about movies, but you know what? October is the season of spooky movies, so it's okay to talk about them even more then. Thank y'all.